The court-appointed lawyer told me and my mom, said, look, man, you ain't got to go get no lawyer, this and that there. The state don't have no evidence, so the best defense is no defense at all. I never heard nobody say no stupid like that in my life, man. And this is a white man. I call him a lawyer in DA clothing.
Yeah.
A sheep in wolf clothing.
Shaking the hands.
Pretending to be like, oh man, they ain't got nothing on you, man. Oh, you going home. So that was the talk.
It ain't real life. Just a real life street Starz. You know what time it is. So let's do it like this. I want to talk about the court case itself. Your jurors. Who was your jury mainly made of? The jury.
All white folks. They had one old black lady on my jury pool.
All white people.
And that was designed. I studied law. I've been studying law since I was 16 years old. So I realized I learned all that, how that was all by design.
That was all by design. Did you have a court-appointed lawyer?
Yes, absolutely.
So court-appointed with all white.
And let me tell you why I had a court-appointed lawyer. There was no murder weapon. There was no eyewitnesses. There was no DNA, there was no fingerprints, and 2 jurors found me not guilty. The court-appointed lawyer told me and my mom, said, look, man, you ain't got to go get no lawyer, this and that there. The state don't have no evidence, so the best defense is no defense at all. I never heard nobody say no stupid shit like that in my life, man. And this is a white man. I call him a lawyer in DA clothing.
Yeah.
A sheep in wolf clothing.
Shaking the hands.
Pretending to be like, oh man, they ain't got nothing on you, man. Oh, you going home. So that was the talk. You know, like, man, they can't, this dude ain't got none of that. Fast forward.
How long was your trial?
4 days.
4 days.
4 days.
When they had closing arguments, as you're sitting there, did you feel like you had a chance to walk away from the situation?
Hell nah, man. The DA, it was about who put on the best magic show. That's all he did, man. He put on the best. My lawyer was stuttering. He didn't know. And it's like I had a natural inclination in me that something was wrong. Because my older brother was in Angola and he write me a letter. He said, bro, look, go research this. Go research that, right? So I'm in a parish jail. We don't have adequate representation for the law library like they do in the prison system. But they got a little some bullshit down there, you know, where you go read a book and figure something out for yourself. So I go to the law library. You know, it was a gift and a curse, you know what I'm saying? Bittersweet that I had a brother in that situation to be able to guide me, though, on what I needed to learn. So I started reading, learning. So while I'm sitting in court, I just wasn't, it was like they was talking Chinese. I wasn't articulate enough because I'm 16 years old. So I didn't know how to raise and say preponderance of the evidence, objection, yeah. I didn't know what to do. So I tried to tell him, he just telling me, be quiet. And so the DA, he jumping on top of the table. Put your finger to my head, Mr. Brown. Like, what this dude doing? Man, he put on a performance.
Oh man. So when it comes to sentencing day, you know, they're gonna find you guilty. First of all, when they said guilty, what went through your mind? Again, you're young, and they said guilty. They haven't sentenced you yet, but they said guilty. Well, what goes through your mind?
When they say, all right, you come out there, you standing up. All I knew was to do this here. Keep my head up. Common sense told me what was about to happen because I saw him. I wasn't articulate or educated in the law, but I knew it was doing this. I knew shit was going downhill for me. You feel me? So when they said guilty, when they came back and said guilty, and I heard my mama holler, "Damn. It ain't over. You don't have the last word." That what she said. All I knew, stand strong for that lady back there. Yeah. Stand strong. So I did it with pride. I did it with dignity. And I took that blow. Yeah. I took that blow straight to the chin and I stood up.
Damn. I gotta ask that, when it comes to sentencing day, and again, you don't know what they're gonna give you. You don't know what it's about to look like. You don't know what they're about to throw at you. What are you expecting as far as for them to throw at you? Because they tell you what's the max and the minimum. What are you expecting for them to throw at you?
Correction. In Louisiana, Napoleonic Jim Crow laws, there's only one sentence for murder, homie, in 1994. life without parole or the death sentence. When I was 16, they originally charged me with first-degree murder and armed robbery, which automatically would have gave me the death penalty qualified me for the death penalty. Even at my age at that time, juveniles were still able to get the death penalty at that time.
Damn.
So once I got but they didn't have the evidence for first-degree murder. So along through all the court proceedings, they amended it to second-degree murder. So when they amended it to second-degree murder, the only sentence, it wasn't no mandatory minimum, the only sentence for second-degree murder in the 90s when I went to prison was life without parole.
Oh man, so
I already knew what the sentence was gonna be.
For you being that young, getting found guilty and having life without parole, what immediately goes to your head? Like, man, I'm gonna spend the rest of my days in here, or like I'm already thinking about the appeal process of like, this is wrong, I got wronged. Hopefully I'm gonna get out. Like, what goes on through your head as far as the moment they tell you, hey, you're going away for life, we're gonna throw away the key?
Well, you know, I didn't know it was gonna be 9,125 days before I came home, but all I knew is that I never accepted that. Yeah. When that judge told me that at 16 years old, I knew better than to even accept that. And just because I stood there with my head high, let me show you how dirty they are, how wicked and evil they are. Just because I stood there with my head high, you know what they said in the newspaper about me?
Yeah.
You know what they said in the newspaper about me? They said I showed no signs of remorse. They said I was a heartless juvenile killer just because I didn't let them break. Like, I done seen some dudes go to court, go to that trial and get 10 years, 15 years and start crying, break down. I saw Young Thug on TV one day with his head down at that trial. Yeah, that's one thing I could never do, man. If you a step out there in these streets, you solid, you got to be solid in that courtroom, because that's where the real gangsters at. That judge, that DA, that's the real motherfucking gangsters, bro. We playing gangster. We playing gangster. Them people there, they don't give a fuck for real, boy. That judge told me you go do life without parole, you go die, come back and do 30 more years. How you tell a 16-year-old child that when you got no murder weapon, no eyewitness, no DNA, no fingerprint, none of that on there? How you do that?
Yeah, now you a scapegoat for real. So let's do it like this, man. We're gonna talk about again your time in Angola, man. You know, we was talking off camera and you was mentioning like, man, this is technically modern day slavery going on. Mm-hmm. Angola is one of the worst or one of the most notorious prisons in this American, criminal system, as far as being able to house some of the most notorious people that's been around. And it's not about more so the people, it's really about the conditions in which they try to, correct or, rehabilitate prisoners.
Right.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life. Real life street stars.